In a world where we wonder what is next for footwear in terms of overall innovation, Adidas comes out with this thing. This is crazy. Hey, what's going on, guys? My name's Chris. Welcome back to the official WearTesters.com YouTube channel. Today we got a detailed look and review on these potential bad boys right here. This is the adidas Climacool. It's a brand new shoe from Adidas featuring technology that we have seen in footwear, but not quite like this. Although we have, but like, I guess not from a mainstream brand. I've seen it around, it just hasn't been done like this before. But either way, this is the packaging. It's a pretty basic Adidas box, which I do think is interesting. You'd think that for a shoe like this, that it would come in something a little bit more of, I don't want to say like a premium package, but more of a package that would tell the story of the product better. Although the shoe is kind of about not wasting, like not using materials that you typically would, which then ends up producing a lot of waste. So maybe that's what this is about. Maybe you're supposed to just recycle the box and you're good to go. When you open the box, the shoes are packaged inside of, I don't know what to call this, but just this baggie right here. It's a Ziploc. I do think it's funny that the shoes themselves do come with paper shoe tree stuffings. Not necessary. The shoe holds its own. You can do whatever you want to it, fold it up, all that kind of stuff, and it pops right back into shape.
That's what she said.
Now, as for the product itself, it's very plain, so there's not a lot to talk about in terms of color, panel placement, design, things like that. Obviously, they look like an Adidas, so when you look at these, you're like, oh, I kind of recognize that. That's even without the 3 stripes, which are boldly present. It does beg the question though, like, is this it, or will there be other colored shoes like this? Like, are they going to use black as a material? I know that they've used red before, and I'm not talking about Adidas specifically, but there was a 3D printed training shoe from Under Armour, and it had like a red 3D printed wedge and stuff like that. So are we going to see other colors? Will they be tonal? Are they going to be able to put prints, graphics on this stuff? I don't know. It'll be interesting to find out because the material itself is super weird. Now, I'm assuming that this is a fully 3D printed product. I'm not super familiar with 3D printing, so I'm not gonna like pretend to be an expert on that. I don't have a 3D printer. I've never played with one. I have seen them in stores doing their thing, you know, like doing whatever. And I've seen some videos of like people 3D printing weird stuff, like for action figures or I don't know, weird things. Not weird as in like super weird, but like things that you be like, oh, I need that. I'm gonna just make it myself. But either way, we've got a fully 3D printed product right here, and it's completely wearable. It's so weird because the stuff that I've seen before and even the 3D printed products that I've used before in footwear have been extremely hard. Like uncomfortably hard.
No, don't like that.
So when I was talking about that wedge from Under Armour that used the 3D printed material, that was literally a training shoe, and the base of the shoe that used that 3D printing midsole literally felt like it. It was firm as shit. Not comfortable, didn't have compression, none of that stuff. Adidas has been working with things like the 4D shoes and stuff like that, where the midsoles are made like this, and they do compress, they do deflect and return energy. They're really cool. This, again, takes things up a notch though, and they make the entire shoe out of it. So again, it's one full piece. The outsole is interesting though, because one of the first things that I thought of, like especially when I pulled it out of the bag, I was like, oh, these are completely see-through. It's damn near like a enclosed sandal. So I was like, what happens if you step on some dog? That was my first thought. So I flipped these things over, and while there are holes in the bottom for that stuff to get into, there are solid pieces in the heel and forefoot to hopefully prevent something super bad from happening. I will say that if these things do get dirty, one of the cool parts about them is that you can just hose them off. I wouldn't even like need to stick this in a washing machine. Literally get your hose, spray some cleaner on there, hose it off, and you should be good to go. One of the weirdest, like easy maintain or maintainable footwear products I've probably seen besides like a flip-flop. The midsole is super comfortable. This is nothing new in terms of wearing Adidas products like this that use the 3D or 4D printed soles, because they are comfortable. I think they're cool. I will say that this is a little bit firmer than some of those. Even just twisting it and trying to fold the shoe in half, the midfoot section is definitely a lot stronger than the flex zone in the forefoot. You can tell that whoever designed the structure of the midsole, the midfoot, and all of that stuff, and the way that it all combines, they did so in a way that they were still thinking of footwear. They're not just like, oh, let's just 3D print something that we can shove on our foot. Like, let's make something that's really actually functional and is a piece of footwear. It just so happens to be 3D printed. But yeah, you still get all of the comfort out of it. It's squishy, but not too squishy. It's got some give and some bounce. It feels really dope. I gotta say, I can't even lie, this is cool. Is it like boost level amazing? I wouldn't say that. I would just say that for doing something like this, it feels very good. I also will say, just being able to hold something like this in hand, you can kind of like press, I don't know, the fibers or whatever it is that you want to call these things. You could just move them so that you could see a little bit of like what's in it or like how it's all together. Some pieces are really long, some of them aren't. Like if you look inside of the collar, basically, there are Achilles notches, which is very interesting right here at the ankle, and they puff out so that they kind of contour and move into your foot, almost like a one-to-one fit, which would be sick for this. Like you can scan your foot. That's where I think this is going, is like you scan your foot, they'll print you what you want. You know what I'm saying? Like when we talk about pre-orders for footwear, they'll give you like a custom shoe. Like it'll like be like for your foot, period. When you look at this, it puffs out into your anatomy essentially. And then when you look at the outside, it's like completely smooth, it's flat, it's weird. And so I was like, what the heck? So I'm like looking at it and you can just see that the fibers in that section are longer. It's really cool. It's like all being bridged together. Super interesting. Even inside, I was like, what the heck is this? Like, can you put an insole or maybe like an orthotic? And you can, you know what I mean? It's really dope. So yeah, that brings me to the upper. Obviously, it's all one shell. So it's all one thing. This actually, that makes sense with Adidas, the shell toes. It's kind of sick. I'm surprised they actually didn't put the shell in here somewhere. But either way, you've got their logo completely printed into the product, and airflow is abundant in these, man. Like I said, it's kind of like wearing a shoe and a sandal at the same time. You get all of the protective layers that, you know, normal footwear would give you, but you get all the breathability that normal footwear doesn't give you. So it's just a really interesting concept. I almost think this looks like art, functional art, if you will. This is taking things up a notch. When we look at footwear as a whole, we always kind of be like, yeah, like some of these are art pieces. When you look at them, when you look at some of Tinker's old work or any other designer, and you're like, yeah, this is sick. You could see the designs, the inspirations, whatever. This is that new age where somebody was smoking some good stuff when they came up with this one, man. It's cool. But yeah, you could probably wear these with or without socks, however you'd like. I will say that with socks, the collar is a little bit hard to get into. There's not a lot of give to it, so it's hard to open up the collar or the throat of the shoe, if you will, and then slide your foot in there. Just kind of like the rubber stuff, which is what the material feels like. It feels kind of rubbery. It just catches on the fabric of your sock, so it's a little bit difficult to get on. If you wear the Yeezy slides or the foam runners and all that stuff, kind of similar to that. Now, in terms of sizing, I normally am a size 9. These are a size 9.5. I could see my toe right at this tip right here where the material kind of like points almost or is printed into an arrow. And so it makes this line right here at the tip. My toe is like right there. So I think that's the way that they intend for them to fit, is that you give yourself a little bit of room, especially with how tapered they are, like a Yeezy. So if you were to go true to size, I think that it might squish your toes in a little bit too much. So I would recommend going up half a size if possible. I know that these are sold out right now, but again, if they restock or come out with future colorways and all of that stuff, I would go up half a size. Now, with all of that being said, what is today's user submitted question of the day?
Today's question of the day is brought to you by me messing up in one of our videos last week. So it had
for the performance review?
It had just been omitted and it was strictly
Nobody
performance.
watched that video anyways, it's fine.
But this guy made me laugh with his comment, so it's coming in for this video. They had said, the amount of information packed into one video is incredible. If I had to choose between Cheez-Its and Cheetos, I'm picking Crunchy Cheetos. Inserted my own question of the day. So
I did see that question. That was funny. Was that in the performance review?
Yeah.
Or that was their question or the comment?
They were just like, hey, this
no
part
question
was...
of the day. I got you.
Yeah. So, Cheez-Its or Cheetos?
Well, if I was young, I'd pick Cheez-Its because they're bomb. But now that I'm old, they give me heartburn, like wicked heartburn. And I hate that we walk by them at Costco and it's in a big box and I'm like, I really want you, but I can't have you. So yeah, I'm not doing it. I'll go Cheetos, Puffs. Okay, I like the Puffs. I like the texture. I like the way that it feels like when you crunch down on it. You?
I'd pick Cheez-Its.
Even now?
Even now.
They don't give you heartburn? What is it in them that gives you heartburn? It's
I don't know.
Crazy.
The most random stuff gives me heartburn now, so I just live and let live, and I take Tums.
I mean, yeah, I do that too, but I could taste when something's about to give me heartburn. As soon as I taste it, I'm like, oh.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm like, oh, this is gonna f me up. And for those of you wondering, like, oh, why don't you just take like I have to. My heartburn's so bad, I have to take a prescription version of it to keep the heartburn down. I think it's because I like eating Mexican food and I just can't stop. But with all that being said, thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching. Let us know what you think about them in the comment section below. We will catch you guys in the next one. So until then, you guys have a good one.